In this video, we look at a simplified summary of the story Buried Lot at Red Rock by Bus Smith, which appeared in the August 1973 issue of the magazine Long John Latham's True Treasure. In the mystical town of Red Rock, nestled in the enchanting northwestern corner of Oklahoma, stood the illustrious B.F. Schwartz store, a haven for trade and wonderment. Adjacent to this mystical emporium was a humble post office where secrets and tales mingled in the air. Legend has it that on a tempestuous night in 1901, darkness cloaked the town as two audacious bandits, Ben Craven and Bert Welty, seized the opportunity to orchestrate an audacious holdup. With lightning crackling across the sky, they pilfered a sum of $1,200, a fortune in those times. Yet fate had a peculiar twist in store for these outlaws. As the storm raged on, a wicked fate befell them. In their haste to flee, their escape was thwarted by a treacherous, washed-out gully that sent their wagon tumbling. In the chaos that followed, Bert Welty found himself trapped beneath the wreckage, vulnerable and defenseless. It was at this moment that the bond of their partnership frayed, and Ben Craven, consumed by greed, made a fateful decision. With a heart as cold as the rain that drenched the land, Ben Craven turned his gun towards his fallen comrade. In an act of unspeakable betrayal, he unleashed a volley of buckshot, aimed directly at Bert's face. Yet, destiny intervened, sparing Bert's life in the face of certain demise. As he crawled out from beneath the wreckage, battered but alive, Ben believed he had succeeded in his dark deed. Unleashing the team of horses that had carried them to their ill-gotten gains, Ben embarked on a solitary journey, the stolen treasure in his possession. With the rain as his companion and the shadows as his guide, he rode east into the unknown, leaving behind the lifeless body of Bert Welty as a testament to his treachery. And so, the tale of the Red Rock post office holdup echoed through the ages, forever entwined with mystery and the whispers of a lost fortune that would never be found. Ben had neglected to check the body for signs of life, however, and the charge of buckshot had not proved fatal. After a few hours, Bert regained consciousness, his battered body a testament to the treacherous act he had narrowly escaped. Weak but determined, he mustered the strength to seek refuge in a nearby farmhouse. There he found the aid he so desperately needed, his life forever changed by the events of that fateful night. Little did Bert know that his survival would lead to his arrest and a life sentence. The authorities caught up with him, and he was found guilty for his involvement in the Red Rock murder and robbery. Meanwhile, it would be years before Ben Craven's true identity was uncovered. Serving time under an assumed name in the Missouri State Prison, he was finally recognized in 1910. Ben was brought to Guthrie, where he faced the consequences of his actions, sentenced to life imprisonment. This version of the story, published in a Western magazine, offers one conclusion to the tale. However, there are whispers of a different account, passed down through generations. Bert Welty's cousin, my father, spoke of a slightly altered version, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. In the year of 1918, when my dear parents, newly bound in matrimony, resided 3 leagues west of Altona, Oklahoma, nestled within the enchanting embrace of the southwest corner of Kingfisher County, a peculiar sight greeted my father one morn. From afar, he beheld a mysterious figure, mounted upon his trusty steed, steadily advancing along the road. The rider's Stetson hat, perched upon his head, and the .45 caliber pistol, holstered at his hip, seemed unusually grand in their proportions. Even the bay horse beneath him appeared colossal in size. As the rider drew nearer, my father discerned that this figure was no mere youngster, but a grown man, though his slight frame suggested otherwise. As the figure on horseback approached my father, a sense of intrigue filled the air. "Are you Fred Smith?" he inquired with an air of mystery. My father, never one to back down, confirmed his identity and playfully challenged the stranger to guess his name as well. With a calm demeanor, the rider glanced down and posed the question. "Well, you are Bert Welty, aren't you?" my father declared, his intuition spot on. In a gesture of hospitality, my father extended an invitation for sustenance. Memories of Bert eluded my father's grasp, for he was only a mere child of 3 when the infamous holdup at Red Rock occurred. However, the familial ties ran deep, as Bert Welty was none other than my father's second cousin, their bond woven by blood. After finishing their breakfast, Bert and Dad, who hadn't seen each other in 17 years, delved into conversations about the good old days. One tale led to another, eventually circling back to the infamous robbery. What Bert revealed next was nothing short of shocking. He disclosed that he had actually buried the stolen loot, intending to return for it once the dust had settled. Dad was astounded by this revelation and proceeded to recount the local folklore surrounding the incident. The townsfolk believed that Ben Craven, in an attempt to kill Bert, had made off with the loot. However, Bert vehemently denied this version of events. According to him, when the gunfire erupted during the heist, he was seized by fear and instinctively dropped to the floor. Mistakenly assuming Bert had been shot, Ben hastily retreated through the door and made his way to the horses and wagon. Meanwhile, Bert remained on the floor until the shooting ceased, then cautiously crawled out of the back door, clutching the ill-gotten gains. The shootout raged on as the tempestuous storm outside unleashed its fury. Rain lashed, thunder boomed, and lightning crackled, creating an ominous backdrop for Bert's desperate dash towards the horses concealed amidst the thick undergrowth. In the chaos, Ben Craven mistook Bert for someone else in pursuit and, fueled by fear, seized a shotgun from the wagon and fired at the figure's face and chest. The buckshot struck Bert, rendering him unconscious. Had he been closer, the explosion might have sent him to an untimely demise. Believing more assailants were imminent, Ben hastily commandeered the wagon and fled eastward, inadvertently causing a wreck and absconding with the horses. Bert, unconscious for hours, eventually regained consciousness, bewildered by the 2 buckshot wounds in his head and one in his chest. Despite his injuries and the persistent bleeding, he knew he had to secure the stolen fortune. With determination in his weary steps, he embarked on an arduous journey eastward. Eventually, after traversing approximately 2 miles, he stumbled upon a cow camp. There, amidst the rustic surroundings, he discovered an iron pot with a lid, a perfect hiding place for the $1,200 that held the promise of a clandestine future. After a long absence of 17 years, Bert finally returned to reclaim the stolen treasure. Accompanied by his parents, they loaded their wagon with provisions and set off for Red Rock, where the elusive loot was said to be hidden. Bert's memory was hazy from the severe wounds he had sustained during the shootout, but he managed to find the spot he remembered. To their dismay, the iron pot was nowhere to be found. Undeterred, they continued their search, hoping that time had not completely erased the exact location. Days turned into weeks, but their efforts proved fruitless. Finally, they reluctantly decided to abandon the search, but not without a glimmer of hope for the future. Years passed, and the treasure remained undiscovered. My father, burdened by the unfinished quest, shared the tale with me, and together we vowed to embark on a new hunt. However, life took me to California in 1940 before we could begin our search anew. Time slipped away, 1 year blending into the next, until I finally returned to Oklahoma in 1965. By then, my father's health had deteriorated, but our determination to find the buried wealth remained unwavering. We eagerly anticipated the day when he would regain his strength and we could resume the hunt. Alas, fate had other plans. The long-awaited event never came to pass, and my beloved father passed away in 1967, taking the secret of the hidden treasure with him to the grave. As I finally embarked on my journey to Red Rock, I discovered that the landscape mirrored the vivid descriptions my father had imparted to me. Although he had only visited the site once, his recollection proved to be remarkably accurate. Allow me to share his account with you. In 1918, the post office of Red Rock resided a mere block east and half a block north from its current position. The primary search for the hidden treasure took place in a ravine on the eastern side of a hill situated approximately 1.5 miles east of Red Rock. Underneath a towering cottonwood tree, Bert had concealed the fortune. However, after 17 years, he could no longer locate the exact tree. The passage of time may have dramatically altered the terrain, with storms like the one that raged on the night of the robbery potentially erasing any familiar landmarks. It is also conceivable that Bert Welty, disoriented by both his injury and the tempest, may have inadvertently veered off his intended path. My father, accompanied by my mother, explored the southeastern and northeastern ravines as well, only to be met with disappointment. However, the undeniable truth persists that the audacious heist unfolded in the year 1901, and the pilfered riches have eluded capture, much to the chagrin of all. Thus, nestled amidst the vast expanse of the Red Rock vicinity, an enchanted iron vessel, cradling $1,200 worth of shimmering silver and gold coins, remains concealed, its whereabouts known only to the whims of destiny. Adorned with a value surpassing mere currency, these coins, if discovered, would fetch a fortune. Alas, my father and Bert, despite their best endeavors, could not unveil the treasure's sanctum. Yet, perchance, a skilled wielder of a magical metal detector may unravel the enigma. May the fates align in your quest and fortune smile upon your endeavor. If you're interested in purchasing a copy of this vintage magazine for yourself, or as a gift for a friend or loved one, please click the link in the description.